Good evening to all of my fellow troglodytes, you Neanderthals and hairy knuckle apes, chicken littles and boys wolf, to everybody else in the red pill manosphere, and to all of my good faithful family. Welcome to the Good Faith Podcast. Happy 4th, y'all. We're going to be maneuvering around toxic debauchery, attempting to find harmony with our fellow man and to dissect society's caustic degeneracy. If it's a pre-apocalyptic dystopia that you seek, then look no further, because here it is. I'm your host, Ninjah Bullock. I understand you could have been a million other places, and the time's the most precious commodity any of us have. So from the bottom of our heart, we'd like to share our gratitude with you all. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Due to the sensitive nature of some of our topics, we hope you will shield youngins from some of the vulgarity that may be spewed here. It must be noted that the views expressed by the panel are not necessarily the views of the Good Faith Podcast. We're not a fiduciary. We assume no culpability of investment performance as a result of following our financial advice. Our simple aim is to entertain and inform. Anybody living in the greater Philadelphia area interested in making an appearance on our show can reach me in a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Christopher Bulick. See our Patreon link in the description if you'd like to make a campaign contribution to facilitate our meteoric rise. And as a candidate of the people, I solemnly swear I won't misappropriate the funds. I won't spend them at Myrtle Beach golf courses. I won't gas up a corporate jet to fly to Tulum. I won't fund arms dealers in the Middle East with Stinger missiles and Harrier jets. I won't buy a bunch of dumb shit.
There it is. It's beautiful. Take your hat off, boy, on the dollar bill.
In all seriousness, though, times are tough. Any proceeds we receive will be going towards avoiding eviction, keeping the lights on, medicating Clark with all of his health concerns, and feeding our gracious guests. Once again, if you feel you've been given value by us, it takes a little bit of extra effort to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, kind of like the Liberty Bell. I'm just letting you know that the Good Faith Podcast is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, Amazon Music, Samsung Podcasts, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, RSS.com. I just tried to get us on Deezer and I think TuneIn or something like that. So we're taking over. We'll keep pushing out the episodes so long as our following stays growing, and we're in more cities across the globe than we are not. So if you're from far away, chat in while we're live. We got a speech bot that'll like read your chats to the panel live, so you can engage with us. It's cool. The path to notoriety will be for our listeners to spread the good word of the pod. If you have somebody in mind who would agree with our content, if they might be informed, even if you want to ridicule us, send a link to your family and friends. And all publicity is good publicity. Our objective is to have a balance between the red and the blue. So if you have somebody in mind who enjoys listening to podcasts, please spread our channel. Now, at this point, I'm going to introduce our guests. So, let me see if I can do this. Here we go. Would you guys please introduce yourself? Let me know your name, age, occupation, and highest level of education completed. Either one of you can go first. Carlos, why don't you go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Carlos, first bachelor's degree in communication arts. I'm currently running a small residential cleaning business.
Okay. And did you say how old you are?
44.
44. All right.
You want my body count?
I don't ask people questions that I don't want to disclose about myself.
Let me do this joke.
Russ.
My name is Russell. I am just about 35. Highest educational achievement would be some college credits, but really just a high school diploma. I am a territory account executive for the company that I work for, and that's really it. Father of 3, husband, and that's my rap sheet.
All right. And can I know your guys? If you're interested in promoting your social media, would you guys tell me your social media handles if you're not interested in promoting your
Sure, sure. My Instagram, carlos.e.ferreira. That's my handle.
You said there's a dot in between?
Yes, carlos.e.f as in Frank, ERREIRA. That's my handle.
All right. And I will put you in. I'll put that in the show notes if you're interested. Russ, do you care to promote yourself or not?
I don't really have a social media presence, so it wouldn't really be worth it.
Okay. And can I know your relationship status and your longest relationship?
Sure. Currently single. My longest relationship, I was 10 years married.
All right. And Russ?
I am married. Been with the woman who is now my wife for about 12 years. Married for four and a half.
All right. And I'm single. My longest relationship was about 3 years. And wait, Carlos, did you say whether you have any kids or not?
I do.
How many kids?
I have so I was actually, to be honest, like I was actually married twice. I have a biological son who's 10 years old. I also raised from the same marriage. I also raised a 19-year-old daughter, which was from 11 months. That was not biologically mine.
Okay. All right. Good for you guys. You guys are, leaving your mark on this world. That's something that I definitely look forward to. As I'm a pro-natalist. Like I'm all about, I think God's purpose for us humans on Earth is to, spread our seed and
Yes.
multiply. So
Right. God and biology will confirm that.
And can I, if you guys want to share your orientation?
Straight.
Bunch of straight guys here. And can I have your spiritual beliefs?
Bro, I don't know. I would say for the moment, kind of like agnostic.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would say agnostic, believing in God, but not necessarily just agnostic. Let's go with that.
Okay. Russ?
Roman Catholic.
And I consider myself like a non-denominational Christian. Although I lean towards the Baptists because they seem like they're the most joyful of the Christians, but really no actual denomination. I just
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of my family are Christians. Like I have, so for example, I have a cousin who happens to be a minister at like an Assembly of God.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I said kind of agnostic, because I was brought up into the Christian belief. And there is a sense within me that there's something out there higher. I'm just not sure what it is.
Yeah. And I'm technically an ordained minister. So if anybody ever needs to marry somebody, like I am ordained by some online church or something like that.
When did you become an ordained minister?
I did it like a year ago. Like all you have to do is just like write in your name and like email address and shit like that on this website. They'll like print you out a certificate.
Christian Baptist, you said?
No, if you want to know what it is, it's the Universal Life Church of Modesto, California.
I think that doesn't. What is that? Is that something?
Yeah.
That's like they did that or whatever.
Okay.
If you guys could have one superpower, what would it be?
I'll let Russ go first.
That's one that anybody would have to think about. So it's not like an immediate answer kind of a thing.
I can go first if you want me to like buy you some time.
I can go now if you want.
Yeah, go for it. We'll let Russ think about it.
Flying. Superman.
Okay. See, I would actually be Superman too, but I don't want to fly. I just want I want Kryptonian cells, so I want to be able to get shot by a bullet, get stabbed by a knife, and it's not gonna do anything.
Got you. Okay.
But I'm afraid of heights, so I don't even want to go up flying and stuff like that.
The funny thing is, I am scared of heights, but I would still pick flying. I push being scared of heights. I push myself to go on roller coasters and all that stuff.
I would say rapid healing.
Okay.
Like Wolverine,
Wolverine.
Almost a way to kind of stay young and fit and be able to play with my kids.
Okay, that's good. Would you would never grow old kind of thing? He's
I don't know if I want to be immortal, but
Wolverine is kind of immortal, right?
Yeah. Sense, but in
he
Logan,
got his own stem cell research.
Yeah.
Within his body.
How did they make him die?
He did get older, and even his powers can't fight the march of time, so his healing began to slow down over time.
Oh, okay.
All right, now this one's really thought-provoking. If a genie could grant you 3 wishes, but you can't wish for immortality, you can't wish for more wishes, and you can't impede on the free will of others, what would your 3 wishes be? I don't even fucking know what I would choose here.
I would choose. I know off the top of my head. Health, wealth, and wisdom.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
If you go to what is it? If you, early to bed, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yeah. Health, wealth, and wisdom.
Well, I know genies, at least in their lore, are supposed to be tricksters, so they're supposed to bend and twist the wishes that you make. Yeah. Jeez.
See, I don't even know what I would go with. I think I would.
Carlos's answers are perfectly acceptable. I mean, that's probably along the vein I would go.
I'd probably go with unlimited wealth. Give me $1 trillion. I'm sure I wouldn't be able to spend that in a lifetime.
Yeah, but he'll give you Zimbabwe dollars. So
I'm going. Fuck it. I'm going to Zimbabwe, and I'm going to be the richest motherfucker in Zimbabwe. All right, this one's do you want more time to think of your answer? Or
all right, so just to have fun with the question, I would wish for the genie's freedom, and he'll either become my best buddy or he'll wreak havoc on the world. I don't know.
That's good. That's fucking that's what Aladdin wishes for, right?
Now I do have to put a disclosure. If I did have a genie, depending upon how attractive she was, she might get pregnant.
One of your wishes could be that she's infertile, so then you could just
true. Yeah.
All right. Would you guys rather be the first soldier in a 100-man army to battle an alpha male silverback gorilla, and you got no armor, no weapons, no nothing, just your bare hands, or would you rather be the last ski mask shouty of 100 to put a ski mask on and go raw dog Bonnie Blue with no Jimmy hat?
I think I'll pick the first choice.
You'll battle the gorilla?
Yeah, I'll pick the first choice.
I'll take the quick death too.
More honor in the first choice.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go bang Bonnie Blue and not die,
Well,
the thing about Bonnie Blue is that if you have an abundance mindset, and I'm not trying to go at anybody. I'm saying I'm just coming from an abundance mindset as far as being out in the dating world, especially being divorced. That's why I would pick that first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's my last little rapid fire question. This one's good. If you could embark on any endeavor and you're a natural at it, there's zero possibility of failure, and you instantly become one of the greatest, what would it be?
Russ, you want to go first?
Stock trading.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. I might do that too.
Paul Pelosi.
Yeah, I was originally thinking podcast host, like if I could just be like like instantly on Joe Rogan's level, but being like on Warren Buffett's level as a stock trader might be better. So one of those two would be my answer for sure.
I feel like being the top podcaster carries its own genie bottle, its own kind of mini prison. I feel like.
Okay. Why? Because you're like held up to the like criticism and scrutiny of the public.
I mean, you're in nonstop sunlight, man.
Mm-hmm. Carlos, do you know?
Yes. So those are awesome answers, and I feel a little bit of gravitating towards those. But honestly, man, on my life experience, I would say this. I don't want to say political, but like sort of like a pimp. I'm serious. Like a pimp mixed with like Michael Sartain, which would offer massive value and offer massive like connections. That's what I would pick for.
So like, is there somebody who does that like a Hugh Hefner kind of? Are you saying?
Yes, like Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah. Okay.
Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah.
Dan Bilzerian. I haven't heard that name in years.
So I live about 20 minutes from a city which was the old capital of Massachusetts, Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay.
That's where Dan Bilzerian's father was born.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. I've been to War. It's funny because it's spelled Worcestershire, but it's pronounced Worcester.
Worcester. Yes, exactly.
It's crazy. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna debut a little bit. I'm gonna debut a little segment we call "Look Good, Smell Good, Play Good." So our fragrance of the week, guys, is Vintage Heroes Red. Russ,
all right.
Hell yeah.
It's a fragrance by Secret Plus. It's a woody aromatic flavor with aquatic notes. It opens with a blend of Calabrian bergamot, grapefruit, and fig leaves, and then it's got a heart of violet leaf, papyrus wood, organic patchouli, black pepper, and ambrox. And it's described as fresh and masculine. It's suitable for every day. Another version of Vintage Heroes Red is a refreshing blend of citrus, vanilla, and woody notes with a fresh and spicy twist. And my shirt of the week, I'm rocking Leonard Skinner because it's a day for America.
Yo, shoot me a DM with that, man, because I love cologne, bro.
All right, I'll put it.
Since I was 15.
I'll put that in the show notes too, and I got these are cheap. I think it's kind of like a knockoff of like Versace.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. It looks exactly like the Versace shit, but it's just like half the price or whatever.
I'm rocking a solid cologne, the Duke Cannon Buffalo Trace Bourbon scent.
Okay, you didn't bring it with you right now.
Yeah, you got to order my neck and take a sniff.
All right. Hat of the week: Washington Bullets, because I'm all about fucking America. This is our nation's capital. I had to rock red, white, and blue. Asset of the week: Ford. It's fucking American once again. And I've been just accumulating Ford shares for like fucking 5 years, and it's been just going down, down, down. And then this week it just like flew up. So I'm real happy. For every 1 penny that Ford goes up, I think I make like $10 or something like that. That's
all right, man.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yo, so I'm Brazilian. In Brazil, we have a saying that like by each little bit of corn that a chicken eats, it adds up. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's a start, bro.
The influencer of the week is Drewski. Do you guys know who Drewski is?
No.
He's this like big black dude, and he's just like funny. I don't know. I've been watching him. I used to hate him, but like now like I kind of watch his shit and I like it's funny. book of the week is the Happiness Hypothesis. It's really cool. Yeah. It's all about. Would you like to give a little explanation on it? Because like you probably read it more than me.
I'll be happy to, bro. So I actually did that book on Audible a few years back. So let me tell you this. First and foremost, the author was thinking of killing himself. Jeez. Right? He was super depressed. And then he realized that when he was about to kill himself, no one cared. So then he flipped it. He's like, all right, well, if no one cares that I kill myself, then why does anyone care pretty much about my life? So then he decided not to, and he went forward. And then he did various experiments. I mean, that's not the main the point of the book, but I'll get to that. Sort of he took Prozac. He realized that Prozac really changed his life, but the side effects were bad, so he stopped. But the main point of the book is pretty much the rational mind and the emotional mind. The emotional mind is a big elephant, huge, and the rational mind is simply like a guy riding on top of the elephant. So this is how we react to everyday things. So he paints that picture of all right, you got your emotions and you're the rider. Pretty much you have to be aware of when things transpire that pretty much you have to be the rider and kind of resort to that and control the elephant, if that makes any sense. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the movie villain of the week. This is kind of an homage to you in Boston, but I said the movie villain of the week was Matt Damon from The Departed because he's a fucking snitch. He's a rat motherfucker, and I don't like him, but he's he's a really good fucking villain, and that movie is one of probably my top 5 favorite movies.
Awesome movie.
That's a worthy movie.
Yeah, that's by Scorsese, right?
Yes.
I've been watching all the Scorsese shit, everything. What I don't like his super old shit. Was it Taxi Driver or whatever? I thought that movie was kind of fucking whack. But I mean, obviously, Casino, Goodfellas, Departed.
Yes.
Shutter Island. I'm like, well, I like those mob movies.
Bro, all of those movies right there, they're guaranteed for you to watch and learn something. You're gonna be super entertained, and you're also gonna learn something. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into our topic of the day right now, which is this. What is it called? It's called the Big Beautiful Bill or whatever. And if you wait, let me
get that, bro.
Yeah, let me look it up too. Let me see exactly. I know it passed 5149, so it was not just it wasn't a shoo-in. It had to, it came up against a lot of opposition. So it's called the One Big Beautiful Bill. It's also known as One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Is a comprehensive piece of legislation focused on tax cuts, border security, and defense spending. It includes provisions to make the 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent, increase the standard deduction and family tax credits, and boost funding for the military and border security. The bill also includes cuts to social safety nets and some changes to student loan repayment plans. Oh yeah, I also forgot it. It's supposed to make no taxes on tips, which I'm sorry. If you've been declaring your tips on your fucking taxes, what are you doing? You don't have to declare your tips. Fucking keep that shit a secret. And also, it's you're not taxed on Social Security. Obviously, unless you're uber wealthy and shit like that. So, what do you guys think about it?
I'll let Russ go first.
I don't have too much of an opinion about it, and it's not that it doesn't interest me. It's just I don't trust any news outlet and what they say about it.
Okay.
I feel like I just don't get the whole story. And with any form of legislation, there's 1,000 pages to it. You're not going to know everything that's in there. People are going to nitpick the good and the bad and just blow it up like it's the biggest thing in the world. I think, tomorrow we're going to wake up. It's going to be another day and why, and I don't know.
So, speaking of not trusting any news outlets, I don't either. I'm like a conspiracy theorist. You should look up this thing called Straight Arrow News. Have you ever heard of it? It's supposedly like totally unbiased news, and even like on every single story, it'll even tell you like which way the journalist like leans, whether it's like a right-leaning story or a left-leaning story, and it's just like I don't know. They fact checked all their shit,
My skepticism still goes up even when I hear.
Yeah.
Facts. Sure.
What do you say, Carlos?
So to be honest, Chris, like I'm not super familiar with that bill because obviously it's brand new, but I did read a little bit about it. What I'm personally, what I kindly go with right now at the moment is I default any sort of like overload, any of like psychological overload to like the president, because of the previous administration, they've done so many things that I didn't agree with. That when the current president posts a bill and I read a little bit about it, I kind of place trust on it. But like, okay, you're gonna reverse whatever it was that I didn't like, so like I'm going with it. Does that make sense?
And I guess this is a good time because I'll be upfront and say I've never in my life voted for a president.
Okay.
At least I've never pulled a lever to vote for one of the candidates of like the two main parties. I've like written in like Bernie Sanders or Gary Johnson or whatever. But yeah, like
I understand why. Yes.
Are you guys comfortable disclosing who you voted for?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I will say this. So actually, this last time I didn't get to vote. Like I was at the particular job that I was when it came time to voting. I just kind of missed it. But I was leaning towards Trump, despite the fact that in the previous administration I did vote for Joe Biden. Within 1 month of that, after seeing the results, I was like appalled. I think this is an important topic to discuss. Is that like people nowadays, they vote and they attach their ego to that particular party, as opposed to looking at it from a broad perspective, objectively, like, okay, I voted for this guy. He fucked up. I was wrong. Let me change my vote. So this is my stance right now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's become professional sports.
Right, exactly. Like I said, within 1 month and a half or whatever of voting for Joe Biden in the previous administration, gas prices start going through the roof. They're going to war with Ukraine. I was like, oh shit! Everything that Trump said before he left office was true. So I think, but most people that I saw that voted for Joe Biden, they were kind of defending their ideology and their ego. They're like, oh no, but he's doing it for a good cause. And I was like, no, this is like, no, it's not a good cause. And we have to change our minds accordingly.
Mm-hmm. And Russ, do you feel like saying who you voted for? If you don't, that's fine.
Voted Trump all 3 times.
All right.
Shit. Bro, to be honest, like just a disclosure, man, I love Trump, man. Right now, I was one of the people that, like, at first in the previous like election, that I felt some type of way, but like after examining all the facts and looking at it from a broad perspective, man, I was like, yo, this is the guy right now.
Yeah, honestly, if it wasn't for like, because there's studies that show that men. Or well, not just men, but like there's studies that show that people who are very high in testosterone levels, they're willing to do what they think is right, and people who are low on testosterone levels kind of just like fall victim to groupthink and like do what is socially acceptable. So if it wasn't for like masculine men, the Democrats would be in power. And honestly, I don't even really like Trump. I don't even really like the Republicans. My hatred for the Democrats far exceeds my love for Republicans.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys. There's a couple, not a lot. Actually, I'm gonna say one. I'm not gonna say the names, but like, for example, there's one particular person online that he's actually a leftist. But when you watch his podcast, he constantly points out the flaws of the Democratic / leftist party. And he says, look, if anybody out there, if you happen to hate Trump, it's because the left party, the left has been doing this for so many years. So I totally understand why you would just be like, you know what? I don't even know who I like right now because it's so confusing. And like I said, I understand that.
Are you talking about Bill Maher?
No, I'm talking about Jimmy Dore.
I've never heard of him.
Jimmy Dore, yeah.
How do you spell Dore?
Dore.
Okay, I'll check him out.
So if you actually watch his podcast, he won't say anything bad about the right conservative party. He will paint what the left Democratic Party has really been up to. And then he explained, he's not the only one, but a lot of people will explain, like, look, if you happen to hate Trump, you have the left Democratic Party to blame for. Because they're supposed to be the ones that are supposed to be endorsing the disenfranchised, this, that, and the other, but they completely switch sides over the course of the years.
Yeah, and so I'm all right. I have such a big problem with like liberal group thinking, and one thing that I've noticed is becoming like really, really rampant is people hating on America. And like today is the day where we expose that. We talk about how fucking like hypocritical and how stupid that shit is. Like,
yes,
because I think we live in the best country on earth,
yes.
But like a lot, and also a lot of these liberals, they have like socialist thinking, and they want the the rich to pay their fair share in taxes. I have this graphic right here that actually shows that the top 1% of earners in America pay 46% of the tax burden. The top 5% pay 66% of the tax burden. The top the top 15% pay like 66% of the tax burden or whatever. You know what I mean? So like the rich are paying their fair share. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it might. I think I said that right.
You want me to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. All right. So I will say this, man, from somebody that used to be a liberal, I have to say that like it's pretty much like a victim mentality. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that liberals lack to understand is the competition which humans evolve from. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think that's very much the foundation of it. Once you understand that, then you understand, especially as a man, you understand that you got to go out in the world. You got to compete. There's no excuses. There's plenty of opportunities in America. And that's the bottom line, like generally speaking.
You eat what you kill.
Exactly. And when you go to the left, it pretty much becomes like a victim mentality, like an entitlement. Sort of like, oh, I live in the greatest country in the world, so I deserve this, that, and the other. But that's not exactly how it works.
Hey, Russ, I'm sorry. What do you do? What's your career?
Sales.
Sales, and like what? Selling what again?
General industrial supply and repair services.
Okay.
So just whatever goes in a factory and moves and makes product.
Okay. Are you able to tell us any like fucking like what's some of the like bullshit that you have to deal with at your job?
It's very little.
Okay. What's the size of your company?
Pretty darn big. It's international.
Oh, okay. But wait, what's little then? You said it's very little. Oh, you deal with very little bullshit.
Very little bullshit.
Oh, cool. That's good. Okay. All right. Well,
Russ, let me ask you: is it mostly like a male-based environment?
It really varies, but I would say that by and large, most of the people that I deal with are male. People who work at my company, it's a pretty good blend.
Cool. No, I was just gonna say that just a little nuance here. I feel from what I observed from my perspective, because of the feminine imperative, like a lot of America has been geared towards women, right?
mm-hmm.
So when you get into leadership positions and pretty much like men-based sort of like industries, if women jump in there, then it can become kind of murky. So like if a woman is to watch this podcast, she's gonna be like, oh my God, there's so much misogynistic or whatever. But it's sort of like there's a particular place for everybody. And I think that like the way that everything has become so murky, it's become more of like a feelings culture as opposed to like a stoic, let's get shit done culture.
So this will be a good segue for our next topic. Russ, I'll start with you. Do you think that the wage gap exists, and can you explain it at all?
I mean, I can give a pretty decent answer on this. So, right off the bat, it's kind of logically flawed. The idea of a gender wage gap, people are paid less because of their sex. Because on the one hand, the same people who are saying there is such a blatant wage gap can also be the same people who say, well, these CEOs would crawl over their own grandmother to make an extra profit. Well, then let's start hiring some executives for 77 cents on the dollar
Yeah.
and make some of those savings that way through personnel. I know it's a cheap and commonly used response to that, but still, I mean, if we're going to play that game, let's play that game. But when you break it down, women serve a different role in society than men do.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I mean, it's pregnancy, it's the progeneration of our species, is the reason why women often will have to step away for extended, maybe indefinite periods of time, which help contribute to that wage gap. And I'm not saying that, that makes a woman lesser in any way. In fact, I think it makes them far superior for our species, because my wife has a superpower that I can't comprehend. She grown 3 human beings inside of her, birthed them, and then fed them with her own body.
Yep.
Every single generation is raised by women. Being a mother is the most important job. I'm not saying that it's the most high-paying, most glamorous. And when people say, like, it's the hardest job, look, I don't believe it's the hardest job. I believe it's the most important you could ever have as a human being.
Yep.
Which, just because it's not the hardest doesn't take anything away from it. I know I'm going on a bit of a diatribe here, but really just bring it back around to the gender wage gap. If it exists, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is because of variable reasons, and it's not because of some mustache twirling person at the top saying, women can't make this money. I mean, I'm sure you could find isolated incidents of people possibly doing it. I don't know. I can't read minds. But by and large, when my company was kind of going through some transitions in management stuff, some women took the helm and led the way and did a bang-up job. And I'm sure that they're not making minuscule amounts of money. But just like, that's just a anecdote.
That's the fax machine. That's what you are. You're spitting facts.
For a second, I'm like, what's going
on? Carlos, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was listening to him. Can you just rephrase the question real quick?
Do you think that there is a gender-based wage gap? And and if so, can you explain it in any way?
Yeah, I do think there is, but it's justified.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, let's take the most prominent issue right now, which is the WNBA, right? So you got women left and right going in on social media feeling that the WNBA should get paid as much as the NBA. But when you ask them a question like, okay, when's the last time they watch a WNBA game? They're like, I don't know, right? So the reason being is that, like, nowadays, I strongly feel if there is a gap, it's totally justified, right? Because when we take the WNBA, even women watch the NBA more than the WNBA. On top of that, the WNBA is being subsidized, by the NBA. Mm-hmm. So I think that overall, once women do make it to whatever that position it is that they want, they do make as much as men. But the gap that they scream about is because most of the women aren't taking the jobs that men are willing to take. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Speaking of which, the WNBA is expanding into our city, Philadelphia. We just got approved for a WNBA team. And
let's go.
Russ, are you?
Yeah, I can expand on the WNBA. If I see a game is on, I'm scrolling through the channels. I'll watch it. It's not bad. It's
right.
fun to watch. But like you said, they're subsidized from the profits of the NBA, and they have never once turned a profit. They've only ever operated at a loss of money. So the fact that these players are getting paid at all, if you were to break it down, is actually they're being overpaid. But look at it is what it is.
Right. And the thing about it is that, like, for example, who is it that complains mostly about this is women. But then when you check the women, they love NBA. They love the NBA. Why? Because, like, all of these male alpha athletes, 6'5", 6'7", 7'10" foot dudes now, you know what I'm saying? So, like, they love that. And they're not even watching their own league.
Well, I'll tell you what. Once they expand to Philly, I might go to a couple of the WNBA games because
I will too, especially the LA teams. Look up the LA team.
Rickman said, "Women do not support women's sports."
Yo, what's up, Rick? I'm a huge Caitlin Clark diehard, and me and Rick have talked many times. Cool. She's gonna. And like we're actually concerned about her like health and safety because the women of the WNBA fucking hate her. They're like trying to like fucking injure her. But yeah, like
speak on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Speak on that a little bit. All right, man. So listen, let me start by first saying this. I watched a lot of. Are you guys familiar with Kevin Samuels? Remember that black dude?
He's my literal.
No. Buy a dog and die alone.
He's my literal my favorite guy.
So if you watch a lot of his segments, then you go into the WNBA, you'll fully understand, right? Because of course, like, I'm not here to cry about it, but like in the past there's been like a racial issue, things that and the other. And I think that right now, for example, let me not mix things up, but let me try to make a point. When you go into the Black Lives Matter movement, the people who are leading that are women.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that they're awfully emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Means that, like, if we hold you accountable as a woman, they're like, oh my God, this guy's misogynistic, whatever, right? So I think that when you carry that into the WNBA, and you have a woman, for example, you have Caitlin Clark showing off, doing all of these good things, and you have that, what's her name, Reese. When you watch these videos, you totally see sort of like a seek for, how can I say this? Sort of like a victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say. You know what I mean? Because like for example, the last video I saw about her was that particular foul that they fouled her. When you watch a men's NBA league from the time that I watched, from when Jordan was in his prime, that right there is a completely normal play to stop the clock at a particular time when the team is like trailing behind. Yet they move that to like racism, this, that, and the third.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know, like Angel Reese's problem is so simple. All she has to do is just scoop up boards, make layups, and you're gonna be. And if you could just do those two things, you're gonna be one of the top 5 WNBA players in the entire league. And she's not even taking it. She's not even taking it seriously enough to just be in the gym and work on her layups. Like, I think she had Candace Parker on her podcast, and she was like, Candace Parker, what can I do? And like Candace Parker, like as politely as she could say, she was like, you need to work on your rebounds. And like
yeah.
Like, and if you told an NBA player you need to work on your rebounds, like, and we're from Philadelphia, we were we were privileged enough to see like probably the worst shooter in the NBA, Ben Simmons. Like, he was a guy who also just didn't put the work in, and and what do you get for that? You fade into mediocrity for not working. Like, my favorite basketball player of all time was Kobe, another Philadelphia guy, and Kobe might not have been the most talented athlete ever. He probably wasn't even a top 10 most talented athlete at any point of his career, but he was. Nobody could outwork Kobe.
He was a grinder.
Yeah.
Bryant?
Yeah.
Man, Kobe Bryant, to be honest with you, like for example, I have the utmost respect for LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've defended LeBron James many times, like other people talking shit about him. But I do say that after Michael Jordan, like, it's Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant He literally watched Michael Jordan, even off the court. If you watch Kobe Bryant walk, he has like a Michael Jordan walk. Mm-hmm. He has a Michael Jordan swagger, right? So like when you're in MOA and things of that nature, like, when you're learning about osmosis and being next to people that are great, that's just gonna pretty much like permeate your own personality, like, it's Kobe Bryant, man.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Hey, Michael Sartain's got a cat named Kobe. Is that named after Kobe Bryant? Do you know?
That I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna ask because he's coming on my podcast on July 17th, so I'm gonna definitely ask him that one. All right, so I'm gonna mute you real quick, Carlos, and I'm gonna run a paid advertisement. So wait, let me get it up on here. Okay. And Russ, are you a beef jerky fan?
I am.
All right. Well, we are sponsored by Holler Boys Beef Jerky. This is the Southern barbecue, baby. Woo-hoo! America. Here, you could try it. So, guys and gals, I don't think it's any mystery that I take my physique very seriously. I'm buckling down. I'm taking it more seriously than I ever have before. I cut out soda. I'm only drinking water. I'm meal prepping, boiled chicken and rice. I'm working muscles in my body I never prioritized before. targeted fat burn over and cardiovascular health over muscle mass and gains. I used to just eat whatever I craved and try to outwork a poor diet, and it was all to no avail. There are still times when I have to force myself to eat, but I need no coercion to eat Holler Boys. And how does it taste? How's it taste, motherfucker?
And of course, the taste is fantastic. I've never had a flavor like this before.
They got their like flavor palette is delicious. You can't just stuff empty calories down your big fat blowhole. I found a solution. So here's what it is. Holler Boys beef jerky. They pack 10 grams of lean protein into a fantastic package, and the flavors are to die for. Peach bourbon, honey habanero, southern barbecue, Chesapeake Fuego, or the tried and true original. My personal favorites are the peach and the habanero, but I think I'm gonna like replace habanero with this southern barbecue. I think this is my like first or second favorite actually. What's even better about Holler Boys is they're nice and local in tax-friendly Middletown, Delaware. They're founded by a father-son duo. They just started tinkering with their backyard smoker, and through trial and failure have come to present some of the boldest and most memorable flavors that I can recall. Forget Slim Jim, Jack Links, or Deets Nuts. Holler Boys Snacks packs a great nutritional value in a filling serving size for an affordable price that'll stretch your dollar with flavor for days that'll make you holler. Their mission statement rings true to the Good Faith podcast that life may throw you around, but you can never give up. How true. Scan the QR code on the screen and find their link in the description to tap into some of the best beef jerky on the market. Holler Boys Jerky. That's Holler Boys with an A. Holler Boys Jerky, the only good jerk.
If I can add on to that, normally when you have a jerky that is that flavorful, it comes with this like almost like slimy residue. And this thing was moist, and there's nothing left on my fingers, man. So
yeah, it's good, and I would even say the barbecue one is like the most I don't know, like the most succulent flavor. It's like the sweetest one that they have. Most of their shit is actually really spicy.
Hey, can I ask you a question? How you get them to advertise your podcast?
So I got 2 advertisers, and they're both like local businesses. So one of like these guys, they work with one of my like loyal listeners, and he like suggested it, and they just pay me a little bit of a monthly fee, and I advertise on every episode for them. And then like same for my other one. If you want, I can here, let me run my other advertisement real quick.
just knocking them out.
Yeah. So, all right, fellas, it's time we talk about a pressing issue. We all know that as men, it's our duty to perform. Whether it's at the trading desk, on the gridiron, the hardwood court, or inside the illustrious bedroom. There's no description that does justice to the confidence boost you'll receive when you blow the back off your lover. So how are you going to do it? With that little limp strand of rope? Would you want to be the safe option? Do you want her to settle down with you after she's had her fun in the big leagues? No, you don't. So why are you going to battle in the bedroom with groggy privates? The only blue pill we endorse at the Good Faith Podcast is It's Mr. Nasty Time Blue Pills. And yes, we're talking about those pills that make you run, Forrest, run! Get the enthusiasm that Jenny has for that gang of Black Panthers and Wall Street stockbrokers, not the tepid tolerance she has for Forrest. Forget about overpriced hymns, Romans, Blue Chews. It's Mr. Nasty Time as the real deal at an amazing price that won't let you down and can't be beat. And I know what you're probably thinking. What if she cancels on me and I take these and I have like a boner all night? I've tried these. They're a lot more mellow than you'd expect. You could pop one over drinks. It's not going to give away your position. Or due to the quick acting effect, go to the bathroom right before magic time, pop 1 or 2 in, and be fully equipped to perform. Just like all the expensive name brands, Mr. Nasty delivers his products in discreet packaging, but for a fraction of the outrageous cost that they do. Around here at the GFP, we're about leveling up, and why not level up your sex life and check out It's Mr. Nasty Time to get your mojo back. Scan the QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description and guarantee yourself unrivaled pleasure. When her dual mating strategy has her playing picky-choosy between the bad boy and the little nice guy, you know exactly who to call. It's Mr. Nasty Time. And yes, and yeah, this guy Nasty Time is another one of my loyal listeners. He's actually been on the podcast 3 times. You know, so both these dudes live in the area. So, but like I am trying to like branch out and get more advertisers. It's like it's tough to get sponsored. You know.
No, I get it. I'm just saying that like you just started and you already have a couple of sponsors.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to get sponsored by the MOA program, and now I think there's like I don't know, like MOA affiliates program where if you know, like if someone joins off your link, you get like a cut or whatever. But yeah. All right. And so back to the wage gap thing. I think you guys did a great job explaining it. Like Russ talked about about how it's a motherhood choice gap, which makes sense. Like women are the only gender who can be mothers, so it's important for them to fulfill that role primarily because it's the most important thing that they can do with their lives, in my opinion. You know, and Carlos, you talked about how it's a little bit of like it's a little bit performance based. You know, like some jobs are just suited for men to do them.
Right.
You know, and there's also a study that came out that said 74% of women now say that they want a man who pays for everything.
Right.
That's nice and all, but like, you know, like why should we pay for everything and be getting paid equal wages to women? That doesn't really make sense. You know,
Right.
like
I mean, yeah, to that, man, what I will say is that in the world that we live today, especially, what was her name? Michael talks about this in some of his podcasts. Ginsburg, I think, on the book Lean In.
okay.
Rolo Tomasi also talks about this. If you guys look up, I mean, she put the most obvious statement embodying women's hypergamy. Right, telling women to date all the bad boys while they're young, fuck all the the wild guys, this, that, and the other, and then eventually they'll marry a man and make him do the chores and have a job, this, that, and the other, and support them. So I think with social media, this, that, and the other, they kind of lost their minds, right? You'll have women that are average wanting a guy like, for example, like Drake, that make as much as that, wanting him to take care of her and yet not having other options, right? Mm-hmm. So it's come to a time where because of social media, this, that, and the other, it's shifting towards like women's hypergamy, and it is really being detrimental to men.
And I am going to go out on a ledge and assume neither of you guys are feminists, right?
No.
Yeah.
Not very modern definition.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm absolutely, like, I'm fine with women having the right to vote, you know.
Right, I agree. Yes.
So, like, I suppose I could be like a first wave feminist and and like a suffrage, and like I'm with the first wave suffragettes.
My wife would disagree.
Well, let's unpack that a little bit, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's go into the nuances. So, I am not against that, but the problem is, like, think about this. After the sexual revolution, women get rights. They're like, we want the right to vote. So men, if you're an American citizen, you can vote, but you have to enlist for the army,
mm-hmm.
which means that like you can get drafted. You're going to go out there and you're going to give your life to your country. Women don't have that option. I'm sorry. Women have the option to vote, but not enlist the army. So right then and there, that's already that little thread that we see that like what women wanted equality has quickly shifted into inequality towards us.
Yeah. And also Also, as it stands right now, I believe in every single state in America, if a man impregnates a woman and doesn't want to keep it, and let's say does not fulfill his fatherly duties, he can be imprisoned. He can be imprisoned and incarcerated and all that shit.
Right.
If a woman gets impregnated by a man and she doesn't want to fulfill her motherly duties, there's in just about every single state there's some type of avenue for her to not be a mother, and there's no penalty at all for that.
Right. Exactly. Like when you go back, this is one of the things that I really appreciate about Kevin Samuels, that like he brought out facts. Although he did bring out facts more towards like, well, he actually brought out facts towards all demographics, but he focused more on Black demographics, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even when you talk about that as a whole, you start to see that before the sexual revolutions in the 1960s, families stayed together longer. There were way less out of wedlock kids and way less abortions when men were in charge of the birth control. So we have given them like all of the rights. We give them more than the rights. Like anything that women ask for nowadays has been given to them. Yet the ramifications of it have been far worse than what it was before.
Yeah, and I think Kevin Samuels always talks about how like even during like Jim Crow era,
Yes.
in the South, like
Yes.
the black community was actually like in many ways better off.
80% married, bro. 80%.
Yeah.
I have like being a Brazilian here, whatever. Like you have friends of like multicultural, like Black friends, things that are the other Black female friends, and I talked to them about this. Like this is one of the statements that when he disclosed that, I was appalled. Exactly what you said right there, Chris. Through Jim Crow and segregation, Black families were married at an 80% rate.
Mm-hmm.
After that, right now, Black women are marrying at a 25% rate. The next up is white women at a 54% rate. But here's the caveat: Black men are marrying at over a 50% rate. So you start to see the ramification of feminism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because
and I think we could talk because I want to be like a men's self-improvement podcast primarily. I want to help women if possible, but like my top priority is men. And as it sits right now, women have every opportunity in America. We're the most free nation in the world, but men don't really have every opportunity. Like men, like there's no such thing as a house husband. Maybe there is. There might be a few, but they're actually bad statistically for marital satisfaction. So married moms are reportedly less happy when their husbands are at home than when their husbands are employed full time.
Right.
And when women lose their jobs, there's no statistical effect on the risk of divorce. When men lose their jobs, their risk of divorce goes up 33%.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was done with that.
Okay. Well, so I was gonna say is that like pretty much like me growing up in the 90s and hearing like 50-50, and then you hear some men saying like, oh no, the man takes care of it, but the woman has to obey the man. It's really confusing. What I'm to say is that like I take ownership in like two failed relationships, as to which one, like I was making more than the woman when it first started, then eventually got equal, then eventually on my first marriage with her projection, not even like right now you're bringing in more than me, but just the projection that created a huge friction in the relationship, which it ended, right? And then on my second one, her automatically making more than me, which eventually ended to nothing. I do have to say that like it is up to us men to be the best that we can be, and be able to support a woman if we want to have that. right? Because feminism nowadays is so like to the 10th, off the hinges.
Mm-hmm.
They want this, that, and the other. If you can't find a woman that will meet those criterias, you're better off make your money alone, like date until you find one. Because one of the things that, like, I'm gonna say this because this is a man's podcast. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, we are the ones reading about evolutionary psychology. We're the ones going out and grinding this, that, and the third, and we're telling them, like, look, if you do this, this is how it's gonna end up. But because of their emotions, they refuse to. But it's up to us to be the leader, and they be like, okay, if you're not gonna live accordingly, then, like, I'm not gonna be with you. Am I not?
Yeah. Russ, do you have any any influencers that you follow? Like, I know we talk a little bit about Andrew Tate, and because I just think that Andrew Tate does like such a good job at being like loud and attracting attention. But like, are there any others that you fuck with?
Not so much on a significant philosophical cultural level here. Like, I would tune in to certain like political podcasts that I like every now and then, but lately I've kind of stepped away from that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a 2-week-old?
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
I've been a little tied up, but what you were going into there about the dynamic and culture of the family, it's almost like the last 60 years of human civilization is a drop in the bucket compared to the tens of thousands of years that we've developed this dynamic that we decided to just kind of shrug off our shoulders for no reason other than to rock the boat, it seems.
Yeah, like it seems like society is like doing everything it can to like fight against our biology. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I don't really know why. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. Like I think God put us in two different genders for a reason, because like, this gender does this really good, this gender does this really good. You know what I mean? Like, we should be coming together, cooperating so that we can like advance humanity. But instead, like, there's certain bad actors that are just doing whatever they can to, be chronically unique and shit like that,
Right. And even still, we can't really pigeonhole feminism too much, just because nowadays with social media, everyone is their own activist.
Yeah.
So everyone has their own definition of what feminism is. So you can explain all these things, and every single response will be a little bit different because everyone is their own. Is it too strong to say everyone is their own God at this point? It seems. Like, I follow the word of me.
Yeah. And
that's it.
And this is what you're describing right now is the core tenet of Satanism. Is like, if I've never read the Satanic Bible or whatever.
It is worship.
Yeah, I know that like in the Satanic Bible, it's all about do what makes you happy, serve yourself. Worship yourself. Everything's about you. You're the center of the universe, and so I think that's like at the root of all of this fucking debauchery and degeneracy, is like just people serving themselves.
To add to Russell's point, I think, but like, you can see her clearly, and even Michael talks about that a lot. The problem with feminism is that
you are not detracting from women by telling men to stop apologizing for being a man. When did this crap about toxic masculinity start? Hunters are hunters and gatherers are gatherers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing about it is that so like, if a woman is to watch this, you're gonna be like, oh my God, but like, because we've allowed leadership to women, they put it into a whole feelings thing. Mm-hmm. It's like they make decisions based upon what I feel, as opposed to like what it really is. So like I put it in the simplest example is like when men are building a bridge, that particular bridge that you're gonna cross over going to another city, is it a feelings thing or is it like concrete? Like, hey, we need this amount of things to build. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that in the, how can I say this? Like under everything at all, like even when you watch commercials, when you watch this, that, and the third, everything has a feminine like imperative behind it.
So I don't know if you've ever heard. Do you know who like Rachel Wilson is? Have you guys ever heard of her?
She sounds familiar, but not exactly.
No, I don't know.
So she's Andrew Wilson's wife, and he's like a like the debate guy. Yeah, I actually like his wife so much more than him because like she's even like more anti-feminism than he is. She's even funnier, and
that's the same thing with my wife.
I want one of these days when your wife is done, popping out babies. I want you to bring her on.
She's very low key, but real like we'll be watching Mary Poppins or something, or feminism scene from the Avengers movie.
I hate that where they all fucking like come down. They're like, "You're gonna have to fight us now, Thanos," and then he's just like, "Bitch, get the fuck up."
She was the one who groaned the loudest there, and then watching Mary Poppins when the wife came in with the suffragette sash, she was like, "Oh."
That sounds like you got a good mate. You know what I mean? Because like she's very well aware. The thing, it's funny that you mentioned that as far as like movies, Avengers, this, that, and the third, is that when you look, like I have female friends who kind of like, I can tell they have this mentality about women superheroes, right? Sort of like when you play Mortal Kombat, you have Kitana, this character, the other, and they're completely savages. But those are all fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all fantasies. When you go throughout history, there's no woman like that. If feminine woman ever came to power, she seduced another savage to get into power. But who got the work done? It was men. It was us.
Like I think like Cleopatra, she comes to mind, but she was like a seductress.
She seduced. I was thinking of her exactly. She seduced somebody.
I would still argue that a lot of the characters in Mortal Kombat didn't really give up their femininity, though, and that's why that series has done so well over the years.
What? I'm sorry?
Just Mortal Kombat, at least until recently, I think they've kind of dialed back a bit of, the femininity of those characters now.
Sure, yes.
In past titles of Mortal Kombat, they've always done super well because, they were these kick-ass women, but they didn't give up their femininity.
Right.
So, back to what I was talking about. Rachel Wilson is she wrote a book called Occult Feminism, and it's all about the satanic influence of really it was like a witch. What is it called? Like a witchcraft fucking cult or whatever. The
Wiccan stuff.
Yeah, it's like that's really what it's rooted in, and they were all about
Alexandra Downs said, "I def picked that gorilla."
I def picked that gorilla.
She's throwing back to one of the worst topics.
I'm taking my chances in Bonnie Blue's puss. Like I don't know. Provided that we can maybe
guess following you forever.
Alexandra Downs said, "Oh well, see here. How do you know Bonnie Blue is Yano?"
It's smut, Bill.
I'm gonna take my smutty hour. It's not gonna take an hour. It's gonna take I'm getting in, I'm getting out. But
she's gonna kick you out if you take an hour. I've got people to get through.
Bonnie Blue has said that her notch count has exceeded 1,000 now. So there's no way that she's never accumulated any disease in that span. But I'm sure there's probably safeguards to make sure that diseases aren't rampant.
Oh, I'm sure.
Have you seen her interview with Andrew Tate?
I did. Yeah, I just watched it last weekend. I thought it was good. Like,
Too.
yeah, but I think Andrew Tate was like kind of like to like taming down his demeanor in that, you know, because he didn't want to like I don't know, he didn't want to like offend too much or something. I don't know. Like didn't he seem like he was not his like normal self in it?
I kind of thought the same thing at first, but then from watching the whole interview and then taking a step back, what he did was, what you're saying is true. So what he did was he took that, and then he took Bonnie Blue and the consequences of feminism, and he blended those together.
Yeah.
So I truly believe that he was being honest. Like, he made the best out of a worse situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's sarcastic. He's like, no, I'm not. You know, I would be a misogynist for saying this, that, and the other. But he did hit the bullseye to saying Bonnie Blue is the ultimate consequence of feminism. Pretty much.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so back to occult feminism. It's like kind of like a three, or like it's like a multi-pronged initiative, like a movement to try and achieve a few different objectives. One being, you know, basically to like remove like biblical morals from society and to introduce Satanism into society.
Because they're geared towards the men, right? So like, right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris, but like being like from growing up in church and seeing what it was back then to seeing what it. Although I don't go to church right now, but I sometimes get a glimpse of it. And Rollo Tomasi talks a lot about that in one of his 5 books. Is that feminism has infiltrated the church, and it's slowly permeating that to like a women's culture. Because when you read the Bible, the purpose of the woman is to serve the man.
Mm-hmm.
There are not supposed to be any women pastors. There's not supposed to be any women leaders. There's supposed to be you can have women assistants in the church, but they're not supposed to be leaders. But what has happened? There are leaders now. So you can see that, right? So there's like a woman empowerment. So it's slowly shifting. So like what I say that is like when you watch that movie 300 and the part 2, you start to see that like Sparta was a male dominant culture, and they got shit done. And then when you go to Athena, to Athens, where you had the female goddess, you start to see a lot of like gay men, this, that, and the other. And they like, you know, society fell with them, so forth and so on.
Is 302 by who's that director?
I don't know, but when you watch 300 part 2, you definitely see like the feminine imperative, because like one of the main characters, like she's like a woman, she's a warrior, she's this, that, and the third.
Zack Snyder. That's the director who did the first one. He also did Sucker Punch and Batman vs Superman. But I want to know if he did Zack Snyder.
Some good junk food movies, man.
Yo, did he direct 302? No, Zack Snyder did not direct. He produced and co-wrote the screenplay, but the film was directed by Noam Murrow.
Right.
Okay. But so anyway, so that was the first objective, was to take society, flip it on its head. Also, it was funded because like it couldn't just be this grassroots movement. It needed to be funded by, you know, some rich capitalist, which is funny because now, like, you know, feminists all fucking scream that capitalism is the devil.
Right.
It's not like it might not be perfect, but I think it's the best system that we have. But anyway, J.D. Rockefeller was instrumental in funding the first wave of feminism, and if you'll see, he didn't do it out of the kindness of his heart. He did it because at that point the workforce was entirely men. Women could not have debt of their own, and like women and children were not a part of the workforce. And any rich capitalist who wants to raise his bottom line realized that he needed to force women into the workforce. And at that time, I think the first Federal Reserve of America was being established. So
so Chris, so the first Federal Reserve was actually like 1913, 1917. The women into the workforce was more like 1940s and 1950s.
Okay. Well, thank you for fact checking me. Maybe I'm just like playing whisper down the lane. I don't. Yeah. But I do know that but like women were finally able to open up their own bank account. They were finally able to take out debt of their own, and they were also able to at that point, like schooling was mostly homeschooling like that. So it's like when you're homeschooling your child, you're able to make sure that their values are kept, how you want their values to be, like, and you can't have a bunch of transgenders reading them.
Said, Happy 4th.
Hi, Marie. I don't know who the fuck Marie is. What's up, Marie?
She gave us a nice message.
Yeah. Happy 4th, Marie. But yeah, so basically education, early childhood education was mostly done in the home. And then they like adopted this I don't know, Austrian. Oh. Okay.
Marianne said, It's Kate IDKY. My phone says Marie WTF.
Yo, Kate, happy motherfucking 4th.
Give Marie her phone back.
I think her middle name must be Marie, I guess. Kate, do you like our new setup? We switched over to StreamYards, and we're talking right now with Carlos, who's in like Worcester, Massachusetts. So now we got Zoom calling as soon as and Kate, a lovely woman, not a feminist, and she's also working on the most divine purpose for a woman, which is to birth children. She's, I think, like, what are you, Kate, 7 or 8 months pregnant, so I'm eagerly awaiting your second child, and let me know as soon as you decide, and as soon as you care to, let me know what you're gonna name him. But yeah, so basically, like feminism, it took like spiritual values out of society. It gave women access to obtaining debt. It put women into factories. It put children into like public schools so they could be like programmed to work in factories once they like became of age. It was just this big corporate machine to train workers.
Overall was that, man. Like I'll add to that, Chris and Russ, that like when I have a conversation with female friends about what relationships are today and what they used to be before the sexual revolution.
Marianne says, I love the new setup. Hi, Carlos. And I love you, Chris. You're the best.
Love you too.
Thank you. Love you too. So what I would say is that, a lot of women would scream out, oh, we were oppressed. But when you start to check the facts, you start to see that like women before the sexual revolution, they did have the right to work. They did have the right to own property. What happened was if they got married, that particular property which they owned became their husband's, for that nature. So they weren't fully oppressed. Then you take into account, like as I said earlier in the call, like abortions, marriages ending, things that and the other. And once we gave all those rights, then it started to kind of like go downhill. So my argument is that like us as men, we have given everything and some right to women, and then we see the repercussions. So men are now like be saying, look, we got to fix this. We got to put back the guardrails. And when we say that, we're seen as misogynistic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're at like, these surely are end times in society, and like Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right hand man. He said he said the historical rate of empires falling was 100%. The American dollar has been now fiat backed in nothing for I think about 50 years now, and there's no society has ever lasted as long with a fiat currency as America has. So
right. And one of the things, like, to be honest with you, I felt differently about this, but before. But the thing that holds the fiat dollar up there is our weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Us doing business with countries like Iran and Iraq and making sure that they're going accordingly to what we have planned. And that's how the world works, right? Like, you can't go tell the Komodo dragon out in Indonesia not to eat the goat. Like, he's an apex predator. That's how he's going to do it. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
That's how the world runs.
Russ, what are your feelings on the on the conflict in the Middle East? Like, are you content with how it is seemingly coming to a resolution?
Sure. I mean, I hate seeing tax dollars going to fund conflict that I really feel no connection to. I'm not really concerned too much about there being like a draft and my children having to go off to war necessarily.
No, yeah.
But really, I don't form strong opinions on conflicts when, the movie Red Dawn isn't happening in my backyard.
Is it? I don't think I've ever seen that. Is it good?
It's just a bunch of Russian troops just one day just parachute in all over the U.S. and start killing everyone.
I wish a motherfucker would. Are either of you guys firearms owners?
Oh, I am strapped. Well, not currently. I didn't bring firearms to this, but I'm pretty well packed. You got that thing on you,
Carlos? Do you have a?
Not yet. I do love firearms. I've gone to the shooting range many times. I love shooting them. But I live in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you live, Russ?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. You guys are probably a little bit more lenient.
I think we are, yeah.
Getting my LTC, yes. I do believe in that.
Okay. Wait, what's LTC? License to carry. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are you guys allowed to conceal carry in Massachusetts?
Bro, honestly, like, I've heard kind of like different things. The thing about, I've heard people say that, like, if in Massachusetts, if somebody break into your house, make sure that you're the last one telling the story.
Yeah.
I have heard other people saying that, like, if you shoot somebody, you're gonna appear in court, you're gonna go to jail. So I'm not sure. But my point is that I do believe in people protecting themselves with firearms. I do support that.
Yeah, and I think it's this was totally accidental, but it's the 4th of July, and we got Boston represented, and we got Philadelphia represented. I feel like we're kind of like the two most American cities in the entire country. You know what I mean? Because of our two cities, we won the war. You know what I mean? Like,
America got started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was are you either of you guys historians? Like, where was Paul Revere? Was he in
Boston?
One of these? He was in Boston. Yeah. Okay. And then Gettysburg was in Pennsylvania. So that's where the war was won.
So one of our books required to read, which is I just started right now. It's why not pitch anything. The tipping point.
Civil War, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm dumb. Full. I was thinking about that. I was hoping no one called me out on it. But yeah, full disclosure, I'm not a scholar. All right, so don't ever think of me as this fucking all-knowing, omnipotent motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Sure. But I'm saying one of the books that we're assigned to read, The Tipping Point.
I read that by Malcolm Gladwell.
Right, he's describing
that's really good.
Paul Revere at the beginning of the book. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, but he was talking about another I think he was talking about another another settlement with another person just like Paul Revere, but he didn't have the like influence that Revere had, and so that like settlement got no traction in the revolution and stuff.
Right.
And mad props to France for helping us out with the Navy.
Yeah. Yo, did you see some fucking like the French government tweeted like a fucking Statue of Liberty like covering its face crying like today.
The leadership of Western Europe.
You know that the guy that gave the U.S. the Statue of Liberty was French.
Yeah. Well, all right. So how about we go back to some rapid fire questions? We talk about some geographical changes that you might make. Let's say like fucking America goes to shit or something, and you got to get out of Dodge. What are three? I'll start with you, Russ. What are three countries that you would think about moving to with your family?
And you bug out. I would say Poland. I feel it could be a safe one. Like I said, like I'm going to say, none of these are perfect. Ireland. You're on an island, and they seem to take some national pride in themselves. And maybe one of these new up and coming Central South America.
Oh, okay. Like, maybe Brazil,
like El Salvador or something.
El Salvador, okay. I would choose Brazil, but I don't know. I think
Brazil,
what's the largest city in El Salvador?
A motorcycle with a machete.
What's the largest city in El Salvador? Do you know?
I don't know anything about that. Just that it seems like their leadership, or Chile with that Javier, or what's that guy's name? Something Milei.
Chile's cool because that's where Gustavo Fring from.
Yeah, Breaking Bad was a good show.
All right, so San Salvador is the largest city in El Salvador. What's the population?
I'm trying to think of places that like uphold their justice system and punish criminals.
Yeah. There's only 525,000 people that live in San Salvador. That's crazy. That's like the size of fucking West Philly. What about like I'm assuming you don't like anywhere in Africa?
I mean, it would have to be one of the major metropolitan areas that still has a lot of Western influence.
Like Johannesburg?
Congo?
You can go Johannesburg.
Well, technically, Egypt is Africa.
Yo, yeah. I mean, I don't know how it is there, but like I always wanted to like go experience like the pyramids and shit.
Yeah, Egypt. That's still Africa.
Well, we're talking about places to live, not like touristy things.
Yeah, that's gonna be my next question. But so you said we got what, San Salvador, Dublin, I guess, or somewhere in either. And then what's your third?
Poland. Anywhere in Poland.
Poland. Okay, like Warsaw.
Yeah, Poland doesn't seem to take no shit when it comes to people trying to come in and break the laws.
Yeah, I mean, they know exactly how quickly mass extermination can occur, and
you were saying Johannesburg earlier. What about that whole kill the Boer thing?
What is that?
Isn't that down in South Africa?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Okay. All right.
Hell no.
Carlos, what three nations would you consider moving you and your family to if in the event of like American Revolution or whatever?
I would say Finland, Brazil, or Thailand.
Okay. Yeah, you also got to consider the currency exchange, and that's why Thailand's like a great option because you bring $100 to Thailand, it's basically like $1,000 now. All right, and I guess I would say I think I would go Brazil, Thailand sounds nice, and
We got 2 countries so far that are pretty heavy in the lady boy scene. What are you trying to tell us?
fucking.
I mean, I know I'm gonna get got, but I'm gonna get mine more than I get got though.
I would and then I would like to go somewhere where that like English is the native language, like maybe fucking somewhere in Europe, like I don't know, maybe I guess I would go like just like Britain maybe, but like Britain is so much like America. If shit is going to shit in America, I'm just gonna assume it's already gone to shit in Britain. So like I might go honestly, I might go Mexico, dude. Like Mexico seems like a gorgeous place, you know. Uh-oh. Did we lose fucking oh fuck. Did we lose Carlos?
Oh, you didn't lose me, bro.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I gotta.
Uh-oh.
All right, you're back. Oh, yeah, looks like we are losing them.
I think he might I don't know.
Oh,
he literally disappeared.
they got him.
So and now what are three foreign cities where you would like to go on vacation?
Now, you know, if things weren't so bad as they are modern day, I'll just say like in a vacuum. I would imagine Tokyo is beautiful.
Okay.
But then, yeah, places of historical significance. Machu Picchu in Peru.
Ooh.
Like Lima, Peru, that general
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
And just generally maybe around the Middle East near the Tigris and Euphrates where like the first documented human civilization was. I feel like I like to see where it all started.
Where is that's in like Egypt area, Tigris and Euphrates, or
I believe so.
yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm an idiot. I don't know where it is precisely.
Is that the Nile?
Isn't that like not too far from Israel and stuff? Like Jerusalem?
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a fucking scholar.
Like the Mediterranean, is that what it is?
Yes. Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think the Nile is over here with Egypt, you know, right through the
flowing through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq.
Yeah, and that's like over
Mesopotamia. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but yeah, like they're close, so to speak, but probably I'm sure like you know, solid 2,000 or 3,000 miles apart. I would think. I do have a globe up there.
Oh yeah, look at that. Well, I also have Google on my phone. So.
All right, and I would say for my personal, I'm gonna send this link back to Carlos, see if I can get him back in here. For my 3 foreign cities that I would like to visit on vacation, I would go with Cairo. I've always wanted to see Cairo. I've always wanted to see Rio, and I've always wanted to see Cairo, Rio, and maybe somewhere like cold. Maybe like I don't know. Where are the Northern Lights? Are they all over like Greenland and Iceland? And
yeah, they're like Reykjavik in Iceland.
Yeah, I might.
Or like Svalbard. That's a pretty far north island that gets like the however many days of night.
Okay. What about Alaska? I mean, Alaska's technically not foreign, so I might go.
Or a place with a midnight sun. Oh yeah.
What's that?
Well, it's the same thing. There's at the north or the deep south.
Mm-hmm.
There's places that get what's it, the 60 days of night, and then they also get the 60 days where the sun never sets.
Must be. My bad, bro. I was about to grab my charger from my laptop, and that shit failed. Anyways.
Oh, it's all good. Are you plugged in now?
Yeah, I'm plugged in. I'm good. Where were we?
Okay, cool. We were talking about 3 exotic locations to visit on vacation. I said Rio, Cairo, and like somewhere where I could see the northern lights, like maybe Iceland or Greenland or Alaska or something like that. What would be 3?
I do think sometimes about going in Alaska for the summer to experience that 23-hour day.
Yeah.
I think that would be so cool.
I would. I wonder how how it is trying to sleep in that shit. Yeah, I mean like because
Right.
I used to work an overnight shift in an Amazon warehouse, and like I just could not bring myself to sleep during the daytime. It was so hard for me.
Oh yeah, bro. You're better man than me to work an overnight shift like that.
So you do not have curtains?
Yeah, but even still, like I mean, I got these curtains in this sheet, but like when the sun's like beaming through this shit, like it doesn't do much. You know what I mean?
Oh, there are some curtains out there. Trust me.
All
You
right.
need some indica.
Yeah, well, actually, at this time, I was, like I was drinking and smoking weed heavily. But this was like 3.5 years ago, and actually getting fired from Amazon because I was never on time was like a reason why I got totally clean and sober. So I haven't had any drug or any drop of alcohol in 3 years and like 7 months or something like that.
All right, congrats, man.
Thank you.
You can't let that take a hold of you.
Yeah, because I was like the worst kind of employee. I was the kind of employee that fucking missed like 20 shifts a year, and like the ones that I did make it to, I was like fucking always 5, 10, 15 minutes late. And I actually, I mean, like a company, I don't know, if it's a mom and pop pizzeria and shit, they'll like tolerate that shit. But like a global corporation like Amazon's like, yeah, you're late like 3 times, you're fired.
Yeah. What made you want to change that?
So I like a lot of my this fucking shit. A lot of my close friends and family were dying from drug overdoses and like alcoholism related deaths. I was getting fired from every job that I ever had. My like physical health was really poor, and just like my life was like in a downward spiral. And I had to change something.
Yeah, no, I understand. The thing about it is like I'm not condoning this, but the thing about it is that only to a very small extent, to whatever issue it is that a person is having, like you were having, alcohol does medicate, but it's only for a very small period of time.
Yeah.
Eventually, the juice is not worth the squeeze. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's plenty of people that are like, I call them like normies, like people who can responsibly, smoke a joint and responsibly, take a drink of, like rum or whiskey or whatever and put it down when it's time to like, roll up your sleeves and get to work. Like I wasn't I was not that kind of person. I'm the kind of person that like I'm done drinking when I lose consciousness or when I'm out of like alcohol, you know what I mean? So
most people do start and believe on what you just said, but then they end up on what you just said. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna have this too so that I can function. But eventually the tolerance, they build up tolerance, they need extra and extra, and then that's how you get passing out.
Yeah. Wait, so Carlos, what are 3 vacation destinations you'd love to visit?
Vacation. Oh, okay. So we're not talking about the family movie. We're talking about vacation.
Did you already mention those?
Yeah,
no?
I said Brazil, Thailand, and Finland.
Okay, yeah.
You guys had that in common. You basically almost had the same answer.
Yeah. All right. So now, what are 3 locations you want to visit, like on your bucket list?
Vacation, man. I want to go to Bali. I want to go to Dubai.
Okay.
I've been to Fiji. I would love to go back to Fiji again.
Where's that? Japan?
No, Fiji is pretty much close to the Australian continent.
Oh, Singapore or
It's Fiji. It's just like a block of
Like I
island.
know the Philippines. And
is
stuff.
that a country, Fiji?
Yeah,
Or-
it's like
oh,
small islands.
little
Yeah.
island, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been there before, and I would love to go back again.
Great water.
I don't think I didn't mention Sydney or Sydney or Wellington or Auckland or
Australia.
like all that. New Zealand and Australia, they got some like beautiful places.
Those
So
are
I'd
fire.
like to
I
go
have
there.
I have a friend that lived in the U.S. He moved there. He told me it's like undiscovered paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And they're a lot like us. They're like like another penal colony of the like of the British Empire. Like they were the bad motherfuckers that fucking the Brits were like, hey, we don't want you anymore. We're gonna banish you to these this barren wasteland. And we were like, all right, fine, fuck you then. Like we're gone.
Yeah.
Bonnie Blue was a penal colony.
What is Bonnie Blue's a Brit, right?
Just like the use word penal.
Gotcha.
Bonnie Blue, man. Wow.
All right. Well, like we're getting down to it. Let me see if I have any other questions. If you guys have anything else you want to talk about, bring it up now. Before we're all done.
I'm cool with following the show, Matt.
All right, Carlos, you got any closing remarks?
Yeah, I got one closing remark for the sake of it all. I think that to everyone, especially the women that's watching, they hear us say things about like feminism, this, that, and the other, and of course, there's a huge mistrust from men to women, from women to men. Like, for example, when you go online and you do that survey, like, would you rather be stuck with a bear or a man in the woods? You start to see women answer like bear, 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 like this, 100%. I think my last remark is that the red pill and everything that we talk about, whether women want to believe it or not, like men have the best of intentions.
Yeah.
Like we're coming forward to set like everything straight so that everybody can have a better, fulfilling life. Because obviously right now, on all demographics of women, they're complaining about men. But what they fail to realize is that the feminism ideology has removed the guardrails from hypergamy, which we used to keep, and it was for the good of everybody, and everybody was happier and more fulfilled with relationships. I think that's my last remark, man.
Yeah, like we as a society have done such a good job making making such a hospitable and habitable environment for women that they don't even know how good they have it, and they say stupid shit like, I'd take a bear over a man. Like, the only reason that you're saying that is because you've never had to fucking interact with a bear and have a bear fucking bite into your skull and fucking like munch on your guts. You know what I mean? Like if you get mauled by a bear, like.
Yeah, well, even before that, like going back to Kevin Samuels, like one of the things that I really appreciated about him is that when women call his show and they're like, men are trash, he goes, all right, if men were removed from this world today like that, like if Thanos was to go like that and all men are gone, what do you think would happen? So like the water infrastructure, the electricity, this, that, and the third, people would start dying. Like within days, because there would be no men. There would be no men for those hard jobs. And
Yeah.
I think that would be my last word, is to be like, hey, listen, man, you guys, we gave you all the rights, like, but this is fucking up. Like, you need to take a step back. You need to put your emotions to the side and look at things more objectively.
Yeah, the most criticism that because like I got this, I've shown this show to all of my like work colleagues, and I'm a educator. I'm like a special education teacher.
Right.
So I have a very liberal workplace, and like I've shown this podcast to those people, and the biggest thing that I ever got, the biggest criticism that I ever got was from all those feminists saying that, because I said that if, all women were to disappear from Earth, men could probably last about 100 years, until it was time to reproduce, and there's no one to reproduce with, then we would die at 100.
Right.
But if men were all to disappear, I really think that women would last like 30 days, maybe 60, 90 days.
They already done that experiment.
Yeah.
They placed, like Kevin Simmons will talk about, they placed men and women on islands, like separately, and they've done that experiment. So I think, it's that thing. It's kind of like sometimes I watch, for example, like Rollo Tomasi, and I can see his frustration, and I feel it, because like there's so much logic, but with all the emotion behind it, you can't get through it. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of it comes from poor upbringing, because with that upbringing that you would normally get from a present mother and father is a set of principles and values that you live and strive for. Because a lot of these people, these feminists or modern what have yous, most of their self-identity is entrenched in being anti this or anti that. They don't actually have a core set of values that they follow or guide their life by. And that always leads to just an unhappy life, or not always, but just an unfulfilled life that does not reach a level of happiness that you need to kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture and understand that you're part of something bigger, and to not be so bitter at the world around you. And when you need to blame men for all of your problems, I mean, on an anecdotal level, sure, I'm sure people have been horrible to you and have caused some things to you. And unfortunately, now it's on you to brush yourself off, pick yourself back up, and continue to live by these founding principles that give your life purpose and meaning. Living a path of anti-X, Y, or Z is just how you get to what we have now.
Yes.
And whatever happened to celebrating these great differences between men and women? That was always the tagline: celebrate our differences. And now it's not fair that men and women aren't exactly the same, to a T.
Did you ever see that like one old like Schoolhouse Rock video or whatever that like it's like, we got to celebrate our differences. It's like ching chong ching chong ching chong.
I don't think that was Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, whatever it was. But yeah, like and like but like right before we go, I'll leave like a testament to our founding fathers, a testament to you two who are both fathers. The biggest statistical marker for successful life results is a father being present in the home. They've like done tons of data and found that like single mother households, like incarceration, self-deletion, drug abuse, all these things come from single mother households. Single father households are not quite as good as two parent households, but they're almost the same. You know what I mean? So like the value of a father is truly remarkable in a child's life. And I think fatherlessness is like responsible for a lot of the degeneracy that we see these days.
Yeah. I'll also, Chris and Russ, I'll say one last thing, man. And to the men listening to this, you know, and I'm sure, you know, there'll be somebody out there that's like, man, I've been done wrong. I feel fucked up, this, that, and the other. This is an opportunity for you to embrace that and say, and move forward as a man. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you embrace it. You're like, all right, well, it's not fair, but I'm a man and I'm still gonna make it. Like, generally speaking, it's kind of like Leonidas in 300 when he got betrayed. He didn't back down. He said, "Yo, tonight we dine in hell. Like, we're still gonna go forward." And I think this for men now, you know, with the red pill, this, that, and the other, it's a great opportunity for us to take anything that we've been traumatized by and just use that as a fuel to become the best versions of ourselves.
Just be persistent. Just persistence.
Yes. Yes.
Never stop working. Never throw your arms up and say, I give up. It's impossible. I can't do this. That's how you grow your resentment, and that's how you start pointing fingers at anyone but yourself that you didn't get what you wanted out of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Second that. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So everybody out there, if you think that the cost of excellence is heavy, if you think it's a high price to pay for excellence, just think about you know, what the price to pay is for regret when you're on your deathbed. Don't don't think like, oh, I wish I would have done this, wish I would have done that. You know, like, fucking chase your dreams. And another thing that I love about Andrew Tate, because like Andrew Tate gets a bad rap. Everyone acts like he's this like fucking misogynist and he's like a woman hater and shit. But he's actually like a really motivational, you know, like speaker. And he says like it's impossible to fail if you did your best. You know what I mean? Like you know, like if you're really doing your best, it means you're never giving up. Like if you have a purpose, pursue your purpose, and you know, like your passion will be your fuel. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna achieve everything that you set out to if you put 110% into that shit. You know.
Well, like Russ said, you know, persistency.
Yeah, yeah. Fail and then fail better. You know, like that's the name of the game. It's, you know, I love what Michael always says. I've been saying it since before I even heard Michael say it, but he said, give yourself permission. And I say, like, give yourself permission to suck. You know what I mean? Like, the first time you try this shit, it's not going to be good. My podcast is still probably not as good as it will be in a year or 10 years if I'm still going.
Exactly.
Like, but I give myself permission to suck. You know, like, I'm going to get, like, I got this neon's like going out. It looks like the, you know, like the hotel sign when the O is like
kick back on
yeah, it is. You know, but like I'm just doing my thing. You know, like, is it perfect? No, but like I'm fucking doing it. You know.
So listen, you know, the time when I was in Fiji, I was actually out there for 11 days for like a mastermind, and one of the things that I learned that I carry with me, and if you go on my school profile, you'll see it, is that imperfect action beats perfect no action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things that I learned.
Yep, I am a high school graduate, and that's it. And I battled my demons of mental health, still continue to do so.
Right.
You know, things have gotten bad, things have gotten dark, but I didn't throw the towel in and dragged myself to the fight every day.
Right.
And so, I'm a high school graduate making six figures.
That's awesome.
So
yeah,
that's
fucking awesome. Man.
Yeah, and like now as we close, I want to share our gratitude. So I'm gonna share my gratitude with both of you guys for coming on here. And you obviously can't. You don't have to share your gratitude with someone who's here. I'm gonna share my gratitude towards your lovely, you know, like the mother of your lovely children. You know, because I do think that, you know, like you couldn't be where you are without, you know, like a cooperative teammate. And that's really where us men and women that's what we should be seeking, is a cooperative teammate to fucking pair with and, you know, like do this together. Because like I'm really learning that success is a team sport. You know what I mean? Like there's no such thing as the alpha wolf. You know what I mean? The alpha wolf can only go so far. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a group. You know what I mean? Like the alpha wolf, he might last long up until he runs into a pride of lions, and then he's dead meat. You know what I mean? So find yourself a lioness. If you're a lady, find yourself a king. And hit your cart to him, and you know what I mean, you're sure to succeed.
No exaggeration. I wouldn't have any of this if it were not for my wife. When I met who became my wife, I was unemployed, reverse sleep cycling, which means I was up all night playing video games and sleeping all day when I first met her. So the impact she had on my life, I mean, there's nothing I could ever do to repay her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta work like a dog and provide for her, protect her, and
I guess that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's your side of the bargain is fulfill that masculine role as the protector and the provider. Carlos, any closing displays of gratitude that you have?
Man, I'm actually thank you for having me on this podcast, bro. It's actually my first podcast. I've had thoughts about my own about being on one, so I'm very grateful to being on this one, my first one, man.
All right. Well, if you're interested in joining others, I know Ravine has a podcast. I've been on his podcast, and Glenn Gilbert has a podcast. I've been on his podcast, and I'm sure they'd love to have you. So reach out to them, and I'm sure they'll fucking pick you up, in a heartbeat. All right. Well, I think it's time for us to wrap it up. Our next scheduled episode. Shit, let me get this before my phone dies. Our next scheduled episode, guys, is July 13th. Actually, I should work to maybe. All right. But speaking of the devil, I got Ravine, DZ, and Fresh from the Goat Show. They're coming on July 13th.
Marianne said,
Fresh
"Have a
from
good night, morning, everyone."
Bye, Kate. Happy 4th of July. Text me, girl. Yeah, so I don't have anything scheduled up until July 13th, but on that week, I got fucking 3 episodes. And so I think it would make sense for me to go a week without doing a show, and since I'm gonna be doing triple time that. So guys, be sure to come back July 13th. I'm gonna have the guys from the Goat Show, and then on the 17th, I'm gonna have Michael Sartain. So I'm really trying to be prepared for that because that could be my make or break episode where I hopefully explode, and then the day after, I'm having my birthday episode. So, once again, we want to humbly thank our listeners and pay them ample gratitude for the patronage. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to have such a high-quality interactive show. So thank you, audience.
So the audience are about to vote. Yep. What does that mean? What I just said.
I'd like to take this time to remind you guys that we're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, RSS.com, Amazon Music, Samsung Podcasts, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, Patreon. On Patreon, we're working to build additional value for the multiple tiers of donors with special content, super chat priority, VIP in-person meetings. We do value your attention, so thank you for quieting your TikTok brain for the last 2 hours. This is a reminder, if you feel you got any value from our show, it takes basically 0 extra effort to like, subscribe. It'll move us closer to our goal of having thousands of subscribers, which will bump us up in the algorithm. It'll expose us to more potential listeners. If you guys want to share us with more of your friends, we'd be absolutely delighted to extend our outreach. The quickest way for us to broaden our exposure is for you listeners to each share us with one friend. We appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. If you live in the greater Philadelphia area, you want to guest star on our show, you just reach out to me in a DM at Christopher Bulick. The Patreon link's in the description. I'm gonna put everybody's Instagram link in the description if you're interested in following them. All our proceeds are gonna go towards rent, food, electricity, new computer equipment, and just to basically improve the general show quality, and also for Clark's medical expenses. My cat is an epileptic, so.
There he is! It's you! Take your hat off, boy, that's a dollar bill!
To all of our faithful audience,
So the audience are about to vote. Yep.
we wish you a wonderful weekend, a happy and healthy lifestyle. To all of you, we bid you goodbye.
Go!